Are you ready?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending wherever you are. For those of you in Liberia, it's good evening. Those of you in America, good afternoon. Wherever you are around the world, this is indeed Pastor Heagar. I am the founder and senior pastor of the All Nation Christian Church in Philadelphia. We bless God, the All Nation Christian Church. Right now, we're operating in the Ivory Coast. In Liberia, we have 3 churches in Boston, in Johnsonville, and in Ganta, and in Abidjan, in Yopougon, where the Lord has been so grateful to us. I bring you greetings, and I also serve as Secretary General to the Liberian Minister Association of the Delaware Valley. I'm here this morning in the mighty name of Jesus to speak to you on the formula to rebuild Liberia. On the formula to rebuild Liberia. I am so persuaded, I am so moved, and I'm so excited that I am a Liberian. I am so happy that God did not make me mistake to make me a Liberian. However, I recognize, and we all do, that Liberia, our beloved country, is in need of all of the help from every well-meaning Liberians around the world. You see, all of the great nations around the world that we all aspire to be. We're talking about Japan, talking about the countries in Europe, we're talking about America, we're talking about all the developed nations. One time they were not developed. But when you look at them, they all have one thing in common. They have a national awareness, a national consciousness to identify their problem. They agree that their reality wasn't good. They agree that their position wasn't good. They agree that something needed to be done to improve the lives of the people and to bring the country to where they need to be. For Liberians and for Liberia to develop, for Liberia to move forward, there have to be, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are listening to me, a national acceptance of the reality of our problem. I am not saying political acceptance. I'm talking about a national acceptance among all Liberians that where Liberia is today is not where we want the country to be. Unfortunately, today, we see that politicians from all walks of life, those that said Liberia was in a terrible state a couple of years ago, are saying today that Liberia is moving forward. Those that were in power that said Liberia was doing well, today those same people are saying that Liberia is in a terrible state. So politicians will always make statements, but there have to be a reality, acceptance by every one of us Liberians. We all have to agree on one thing, and that is, where are we as a nation? After 173 years of existence as a nation, are we in a better state? If I say that, I'm not trying to criticize any political party. I'm not trying to criticize any administration. I'm just trying to make us to be aware. Before we solve any problem, we must agree on the problem. So for me, I'm going to speak on 3 areas that I believe when we look at those 3 areas, we will conclude that Liberia is not doing well at all. This is not a political indictment against any administration or against any political party. I am speaking from the level of spiritual apprehension. I am speaking on a spiritual understanding of where Liberia is today. I believe Liberia is not doing well. And by the special grace of God, I will be telling us why I believe that Liberia is not doing well. I will speak on the area of the decline of family values. I will be speaking on the area of the decline of moral values. And I will be speaking on the area of the decline of spiritual values. Those are the areas that I will be referring to during this brief conversation that the Lord asked me to come and speak to us on. And I'm hoping that all politicians and Liberians from different walks of life, we will all agree on this. And this is the fact that our beloved country, after 173 years, we are not doing well at all. Whenever we make mention about a nation going forward, it is not only the infrastructure development. It is not the areas of infrastructure and buildings and roads. We talk in the areas of the decline of family. In his book, Jim Marshall said there are three areas, and I will repeat here. If a nation must go forward, we must analyze the decline of every family values in that nation, unquote. So we see today, brothers and sisters, is Liberia doing well? Absolutely not. Let's look at the family values. Today in our country, Liberia, because our parents, when I was growing up in the 70s, my parents could pay my school fees. My parents could buy me food to eat. My parents could build a house that I would stay in for comfort, for protection. Today, because most of the parents in Liberia are unable to provide the basic, necessity of life, their children have become disobedient. Today, look in the street of Monrovia, even within our schools, you see a huge juvenile delinquency. We see the breakdown of family values. We see most of our children being reared either by grandparents or by single mothers or by, aunts or different people. So in Liberia today, brothers and sisters, we see that there is a huge decline of family values. Today, most of the Liberians are giving birth to children out of wedlock. And children are raising children, brothers and sisters. They have nothing to do with which political party. If Liberia need to move forward the formula, we have to lay emphasis on the family, because the family is the bedrock of every nation, every society. If the family is not together, the society will never be together. And I want to use this occasion to call on pastors and religious leaders, to call on our churches. And I'm grateful for all of the services that you run. I'm grateful for all of the prayers that you run. But pastors, religious leaders, what effort are we exhibiting to build strong families in our churches? What effort are we exhibiting to build stronger families in our society? As a church, when I look at the programs and the platform of many churches in Liberia, they mention about revival, they mention about casting out demons, they mention about all these things. Listen, may God be praised. But if we want that country to go forward, churches must invest hugely in building strong families. Look in the church, most of the people that are in the churches today, they are not learning about how to build a strong family. If the family in Liberia, if the family not strong, brothers and sisters, whichever political parties come to power, Liberia would not go forward, because the weak family mean weak nation. Because my family was strong. My father made sure that I went to school. My father made sure that I had the requisite education. He was there to provide the moral, the emotional support for me. When I disobeyed in the school, I remember in 1979, I was in Lrtn, 4th grade. When my father went to the school because I misbehaved, he caused the teachers to discipline me right in his presence. He used to go for all my teacher parents meeting. He used to make sure that my homeworks have been completed. Where is the family today? Brothers and sisters, Liberians, if the formula to rebuild Liberia is a concerted effort into building strong families. And we need to reward politicians that are example in building strong families. If we have to make decisions to elect people into offices, we must elect politicians and look at their commitment to strong families. Very important credential, because if our president, if our ministers, if our representatives, if our senators are people that believe in strong family values, they take care of their home, they take care of their families, they will be able to take care of the country. Today we have politicians that have no understanding of family values. Some of them have no ability to manage their own household. And we reward them with national political leadership. We are causing chaos in that nation. Let's look at people's profiles, see if they've been married. What have they done to support strong family? Look at their children. How well their children do in school. How respectful their children are. See their commitment to family. Let's build the nation by building strong family, one at a time. Don't just go because this man is your tribal man. Don't elect people because of sentiment. Look at what commitment they have towards family value. Brothers and sisters, the formula to rebuilding Liberia is to build strong family. If we don't build strong family, brothers and sisters, that nation is going nowhere. Another thing that I want to talk about, brothers and sisters, is the issue of the decline of values. The decline of values. We'll be going for a break, and right after that, I'll be coming back to talk to us on the area of the decline of value. If Liberia need to go forward, we have to identify right from wrong. Yes, I will quote what someone said in America. Every one of us, we are entitled to our own opinion, but we are entitled to our own facts. When something is wrong, it's wrong. We're coming back and talk about the importance of moral guardian, moral value. And thank you so much. Yes, welcome back again. We want to thank God for you. We just mentioned about the formula to rebuild Liberia, and we may mention about the importance of building strong family values. If Liberia is to go forward, we must develop and we must go forward with building strong family values. The second one we want to talk about is the importance of building values in our society. The power of false idea is another important and visible areas of nation development. We see the Bible made it very clear to us. It's recorded. It said, for the foolishness of God is wiser than the human wisdom, and the weakness of God is stronger than man's strength. Brothers and sisters, today in Liberia, we have developed a nation, a culture, a philosophy in life, in a country where we are rewarding people that have done nothing whatsoever for the common good of the community where they live, or for the country as a whole. We reward them with political power. Today in Liberia, absolutely, there is a decline of values. Today in Liberia, my beloved Liberia, hard work is no more important. What is important now is if you can lie, you can stab somebody on the back, you can cheat, you can corrupt. In fact, we are praising corrupt people. In fact, we gave them all kinds of names. We encourage them. There's a total decline of values. Today, as a nation, we have failed the test of moral integrity. Today in Liberia, we don't know right from wrong. We don't know black from white. Today in Liberia, the whole place has become saturated with what I can get for myself. Whatever I destroy a lot of people, if me, I can succeed, that's fine. What are we doing to that nation? Is Liberia going forward in an era of moral value? That's a decline, astronomical decline in moral values. It's sad, very sad. We are not going anywhere when we don't have the ability to tell people when it's wrong. I always tell people, I say the reason why America is such a great country, the reason why those developed nations are so great, it's not because they have natural resources. It's not because they are more intelligent than us. No, I can tell you why. Because I've experienced life in different countries in the world. One thing I have seen in the developed nation is that the enforcement capacity. I don't care who you are. The law is absolutely for everyone. You can be a billionaire. You can be a millionaire. You can have political power. If you break the law is the law, and you bear the full weight of the law. That's the difference. There is that enforcement capacity. They know what is right and what is wrong. In America, billionaires have been sent to prison. People that are very close to presidents. The law, they go through the violation of the law, they pay the consequences. Because there's a moral, there is a desire by the nation to separate politics from moral values. When somebody is caught stealing, they have nothing to do with what political party they are connected with, who know them. They must face the full weight. They must pay for their crime. That is important. If that country need to go forward, there must be a commitment to morality. We must be committed to value. We must reward those that have labored, those that have been obedient to the Lord, those that have been faithful and commitment to obeying the law. We must reward them. But today, unfortunately, We reward criminals. Those that broke the law, we celebrate them. And we say, why are we behind? Listen to me. If Liberia need to go forward, brothers and sisters, there must be that commitment on the part of every Liberian to moral value. There is a total breakdown of morality in Liberia. And then somebody is telling me Liberia is going forward. Liberia, it's not a building, it's not a road that construct a nation. It's the people. Brothers and sisters, they say the most important resource of a nation is its people. If we have a group of people that don't believe in morality, people that see right and call it wrong, and you're telling me so the nation going forward, we are just setting ourselves for disaster. Every nation that went that path, they never lasted long. They collapsed because we don't have institutions. We don't believe in our institutions. In this country they call America, the president can say something. You go to court and the judge can say no and you are set free. I have gone to court so many times with police officers. They gave me ticket and I went there and the judge said, go home. He canceled. And nobody can come after me. This is what we call that we all agree. Let's support our institutions. Let's develop a moral compass for our people. Our children that are coming after us. Do they believe that going to school and learning and being law-abiding will pay off when people are cheating on the national exam? In fact, teachers are setting grades. What kind of nations are we building, brothers and sisters? Is Liberia going forward? When I look at our commitment to moral value, I say no, Liberia is not going forward. Liberia is getting worse every day. Our moral values are totally being eliminated in our country. In fact, you don't see at the higher level of our country people commitment to moral values. You see our politicians and other people engaging extramarital affair, and in fact it becomes acceptable thing. Where are we going as a people? Brothers and sisters, if the nation need to go forward, I love Liberia as you love Liberia. We all love Liberia. I'm going to beg you. And I'm not here to indict any political party. I'm saying to all of us as Liberians, the morality in our country is going backwards so much. There's an astronomical increase in lawlessness, astronomical increase in rape. Can you imagine? Well, what happened? When you see a 50-year-old man raping a 7-month-old baby, what's gone wrong? When you see politicians are sleeping with 13-year-old girls and people are celebrating them and calling them, and where are we? And we say the nation going forward? Brothers and sisters, we are not going forward. We are not going forward. If we have no desire to be committed to moral values, there is a huge decline in our moral value as a nation. It's saddening. Now, the last area is an area of spiritual decline. If a nation will collapse or a nation will not go forward, check the area of the spiritual decline. People today in Liberia, I don't have all the statistics, but people today, when we were growing up, the church was the beacon of hope. The church taught us to live right. There's a decline in spiritual values. Our churches have been caught up in corruption. Our churches have been caught up in all kinds of issues that decimate Christianity, that decimate the belief in God. Is there a progress? Are we going forward in terms of our religious progress? Religion-wise, Liberia is declining. It doesn't matter how many churches we have. Check the number of lawlessness in our nation. Check the number of violence. Check what's happening. Are the churches having impact on the nation? Absolutely not. Those politicians that go to the churches, the preaching of the word of God does not change them. It does not stop them from being corrupt. They have no fear of God. So we are declining in the area of spirituality. So I said, oh, is Liberia declining? Yes. In the area of family value, we are declining. In the area of moral value, we are declining. In the area of spiritual value, we are declining. So is there hope for Liberia? Yes. I said there is hope for Liberia. I will give you an illustration to tell you when I was in the Ivory Coast, there is a religion they call the Harris. The Harris are the biggest church after the Catholic Church in Ivory Coast, around the Saint Petro, the Abidjan, Bonois, all the way towards the Grand Belibi. I mean, if you talk about the Southwest Ivory Coast, the Harris are the biggest church there. In fact, they do have a university named after William Harris. What I want to let some of you know, Liberians, William Harris was a group of man. He came from Liberia in the 1880. Check the history. Harris preached around the southeastern part of Liberia, around Sano, around Maryland. And he was preaching on in terms of moral integrity of people. He preached that people must be committed to God. He was so powerful, but he was rejected by Liberians. He was rejected by the word he preached, the great word that William Harris preached, until William was so frustrated he migrated to the Ivory Coast and he started preaching among the Ivorians. They're receiving, and I mean, these guys welcome Harris. Today, people don't know about William Harris, but you go to Ivory Coast. Ivory has a university named after him. And the place they bury him, that dribble man, is a place of pilgrimage. They go there because this man was so powerful. He taught the Ivorians to leave from pagan religion and come to God. He taught them to be morally and people with integrity. That's why you go there, the Ibrié, the Kuman, and all the people from Ivory Coast. They believe in integrity because William Harris, that was rejected, and Liberian rejected by his own people, went back and preached to the Ivorians. Let me tell you something. In Liberia, will go forward. Couple of things that are written down here. It's very important. We have to do these things, and I believe by God's help, we'll move forward. Number one, we must all show concern for where Liberia is and decide to do something. I believe politicians have failed Liberia since 173 years. Politicians have just always caused us problems. I don't believe, and I say this, I don't believe that Liberia will be developed by politicians. Sorry, but this is my understanding. Because since then, the political class in Liberia have always caused a problem. They're always thinking about themselves, selfishness, greed. I'm not indicting any political party, but I'm saying the political class. So Liberians need to come together. How do we do that? I'm drawing my conclusion for Nehemiah. Nehemiah was a man that was in a privileged position, a Jewish in the Persian government. But when he heard that Jerusalem was in a terrible state, Nehemiah decided to do a couple of things. He was not happy. Liberian, wherever you are around the world, please, even those in Liberia, I want us never to be satisfied, be happy, and say, oh, because I'm part of the political party, so they can't move forward. Liberia is not moving forward. We all need to be very concerned. We all need to say, listen, this is not where we need to be. It's shameful. It's disgraceful. It's unacceptable. After 173 years where we are, every Liberian around the world, you need to be concerned and say, what can I do? How can I help? What resources can I mobilize? Brothers and sisters, I want to use this platform to call on Liberians. Wherever you are, we are in a terrible state. We need everything. Liberian, please. We need to galvanize all of the resources. Technicians, agriculturalists, economists, those social workers, doctors, nurses. Listen, I beg you, we need to come together. We need to show concern because Liberia is in a terrible state. What Nehemiah also did when he got to Jerusalem, Nehemiah was able to identify partners within the local citizenry, those that were in Jerusalem, so they can work together to rebuild the wall. Liberians in the diaspora, we are willing and ready. And I can say to you, Liberians back home, the problem with many Liberians back in the diaspora having difficulty coming back, not because we don't love the country, but we don't find faithful local Liberian people that remain back home that committed with integrity, that ready to see, listen, let's work together to build the country. Let's work together to build our community. If you go to Liberia, Liberians back home, and some are good, but the experiences that we have had, I said this, and somebody else said, oh, listen, my own personal experience when I was building my house, just for example, my personal house, I took people that I knew, my friends, my relatives that I knew. I said, let's work together. Let me build my house. They also get employment. They also get money. They will get some, go. I told them, don't buy any. I told them, product, I don't want you to buy cement, steel from any Lebanese or Indian. Go to Liberian-owned businesses, buy cement. But you know what happened when they went to Liberian-owned businesses? The cement that we were buying from them, the Liberian business was opening the cement bag and removing some of the cement and giving us not the complete bag. It became an issue. Some people were stealing the steel rod. They were stealing everything until I had to take a friend, a Nigerian, a pastor that is a natural Liberian now. He's the one that stood with me to help me build my house. We want to come. We have the resources to help, but we can't find local partners, local Liberians that believe that together we need to build a country together. People that you can trust them with money, that they can do what they're supposed to do, and there will be no story about money missing or material being missing. When Nehemiah got to Jerusalem, he found faithful Jews, those that were back home and were able to work together to build up the wall of Jerusalem that was broken down. So Liberians abroad, if you are discouraged, I still want to ask you, please, you are the cardinal one. You are so important. Israel today, Israel is developed because of the Jewish diaspora around the world. They send a lot of resources and they send a lot of skills and they send a lot of material to Israel to help build Israel. So we call it upon you to not give up. We also want to encourage Liberians. Stop being deceived by the politicians. The politicians will only exploit you. Let us come together when your brother come with a project, helping somebody struggle and get a vehicle and say, let me give it to my brother to go in transportation. With that transportation, he can pay his children's school fee and other things can happen. The man get the vehicle now, he's a big man. He sat down and used the money on 5, 6 girlfriends. The vehicle spoke. we conclude on the formula for Liberia rebuilding. I'm here this afternoon on this platform. I want to take this time to appreciate the Liberia Radio Television Network under the great auspices of my friend and brother for all the services that you are doing in our community. We truly bless God for you. As I conclude, Liberians will need to be very creative. We don't have enough donor funding. The whole world today, and it's sad for me to say this, that as a nation, our budget have to be supported 50% by donor funding. And all of our different important development areas, the schools, the hospitals, like in the area of agriculture and everything need to be donor funded. I believe, yes, it's true that donor funding are important. I will not negate the fact, but we have enough Liberians around the world that need to be creative to come together and say, look, let's take a sector. Take, for example, see what the Senegalese diaspora are doing in Senegal. Take, for example, what Akon, a Senegalese immigrant that came here and became successful. He went back home and see the kind of way he partnered with other people. He brings people from different parts of the world. They are investing and changing the landscape of Senegal. So Liberians, we need private investment into Liberia. We have the landscape that can change Liberia forever. I gave you an example. Listen to me and listen to me very well. In Ivory Coast, Ivorians export fresh roses, flowers, every day to France, and it's a multi-million business. The climate conditions in Liberia are far better than even Abidjan. We have the forest, we have the land, we have the waterway, we have everything. We can do something in that level. When I was in Liberia, I visited the Ministry of Transport, and I said this, Brother Prince, I went there, and can you imagine at the Ministry of Transport, where people was always in line fighting to get on taxi and bus to go home every evening. And I met the minister at that time for urban transportation. And I said, what plan do you have to use our waterway? Look at the Doo River. The Doo River can connect you to Douala. The Doo River can connect you to Barnesville. The Doo River can connect you to Lapasi. Listen, in Abidjan, you only have the water taxi. How much money does it require? Very little. And that water taxi, it uses the lagoon of Abidjan, and those in Yopougon, those in other far districts, it only take them 10 minutes to come to Abidjan downtown, do their business, get back on the water taxi. If you have a water taxi 4-5 and put on the Doo River, people from Lakpasi, students from Lakpasi, they can come downtown Broad Street, they come to school in less than 5 minutes already there. We have 173 years and nobody's thinking. When you go, Charlestown Road is blocked. The one way we have, the Tubman Boulevard is blocked. People got to stay in traffic for so long. What happened to us? What can we partner and say, let's get some water taxi? How much it will cost us to alleviate the transportation? Moment we create that water taxi, the problem Liberians need to come together. Maybe it'll take 4 or 5 Liberians to put resources together, get 2 or 3 of the water taxi, and go there and start doing the business. But we don't trust one another. We can't work together. And it will become a problem. If you start to do it, then government comes in to put a lot of obstacles, put all kinds of regulatory policy in place to struggle you all the resources. And that's the problem. Look what happened in Lofa County, where this guy came and invested almost $2.5 million in the cocoa business, and today the project is lying down over there, dead. When that thing can produce thousands of jobs for Liberians because of some tribal group, land policy, all kinds of things. When the land was there, nobody was using it. What I'm saying to us, I'm very passionate. I believe Liberia will need to go forward. It will not be politicians, it will be like common Liberians partnering together domestically and outside Liberia. We have the knowledge, the skills, the resources put together, and we'll be able to build that nation. Forget about the politicians. I tell you, they are failure. Politicians are liars. I've said, put me on the record. Politicians, I can give you an example of a politician. Politician is like a grown-up boy that want to sleep with a girl. And what he knows that the girl loves to hear good things. So he will come and tell the girl good things. The moment you sleep with that girl, he's not even thinking about that girl anymore. Politicians always think about what in their interest. They're not thinking about what in the interest of the people. So we start putting trust and confidence in politicians. Liberians, whether you are outside the country or you are inside the country, we all need to be concerned. We need to come together. We need to develop a system of trusting one another, a system of believing one another, system of believing the country. Know that together we can move the country forward. God bless you, and it'll be a wonderful time. I hope that what the Lord laid on my heart today will be a blessing to all of us, wherever you are, in Jesus' name. Amen.